Let's talk about the head of state of Australia. He is Scott Morrison. He born in May 13, 1968, and he is married with Jenny Warren. He has two children with her. He's an Australian politician serving as the third and current Prime Minister of Australia, having become the leader of the Liberal Party in August 2018. He has held senior ministerial office since 2013, including as a treasurer in the Turnbull government. Morrison was born in Sydney and studied economic geography at the University of South Wales. It's an Australian public research university and is ranked in the fourth of Australia. The heads of states belongs to liberals. The party's ideology has been referred to as a conservative, liberal conservative, and conservative liberal, and classical liberal. The Liberal Party tends to promote economic liberalism, which in the Australian usage refers to free markets and small government. Two past leaders of the party, Sir Roberto Menzies and John Howard, are Australia's two longest serving prime ministers. Government type: Parliamentary democracy, federal parliament. Under a constitutional monarchy, a Commonwealth realm. About LGBT in Australia. Australia is recognized as one of the most LGBT accepting countries in the world, with opinion polls and the Australian marriage law. Postal survey indicate widespread popular support for same-sex marriage. LGBT rights in Australia. Status: always legal for women, legal for men in all states and territories since 1997. Equal age of consent in all states and territories since 2016. Gender identity: change of sex recognized in all jurisdictions. Lesbian, gay, or bisexual personnel allowed to serve openly since 1992. Transgender personnel allowed to serve openly since 2010. Discrimination protections: federal protections for sexual orientation, gender identity, and intersex status since 2013. LGBT protections in all state and territory laws, family rights. Same sex marriage since 2017. Equal adoption rights for same sex couples in all states and territories since 2018. Abortion in Australia is largely regulated by the states and territories rather than the federal government. The grounds on which abortion is permitted in Australia vary by jurisdiction. In every state, abortion is legal to protect the life and health of a woman.
Point 1. Our IP system incentivizes the creation and application of new knowledge by granting legal protection to the creators of new ideas. Patents are the most commonly used IP right as a proxy measure for the innovation or commercialization of science. Point 2. From 2014 to 2015, there was a 10% increase in domestically filed applications for standard patents, reflecting an upward trend over the past decade. Point 3. In 2014, Australians filed over 4 times as many standard patent applications abroad as they filed domestically, reflecting the jurisdictional nature of the copyright system and the size of the Australian market. Weaknesses: 1. Our copyright system has progressively expanded and protects works longer than necessary to encourage creative endeavors. 2. Our IP system grants patent protection too easily, and this has allowed a proliferation of low-quality patents, particularly innovation patents. 3. Australia has no overarching IP policy frameworks to guide change to IP protection in the context of international trade negotiations. Enemies: Australia currently has no enemy country to count on. While it can be considered to have strained relations with some countries in Oceania, like Indonesia, that does not count as an enemy country as there is no diplomatic hostility or the use of force directly between the two nations. Allied. In allied countries, we can find that all Westerns fall into this category, highlighting the United Kingdom and the countries of the Commonwealth of Nations, of which Australia is part. In addition, the United States and the countries of the European Union also list the compendium of aliens in the southern country. Scandals 1. One Nation Party leader Pauline Hanson and co-founder David Etheridge were involved in a electoral fraud in 1997 and were sentenced to 3 years jail term in 2003. The duo was accused of preparing a list of 5,000 fake party members of One Nation to make the party eligible for application to Queensland Electoral Commission. The Brisbane Direct Court jury claimed that the people enlisted were part of Hanson's support movement. Later, a Queensland court overturned all convictions on the two, and after spending 11 weeks in jail, Hanson was released along with Etheridge. Number 2. Australia's Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce was briefly evicted from office last over a dual citizenship-eligible saga. Now, 2 months after Mr. Joyce's return, a fresh scandal has forced his demotion to the backbench.